and let us all do we can to build a better future.
Daniel, what's going on, buddy?
Yeah, okay, so we have a very positive story today. Everyone, before we even start, give yourself a round of applause. We sort of did something positive. Something positive has happened. Yeah, okay, let's go into it. So
What
New
happened?
Mexico has just banned qualified immunity. There's an asterisk, but it's not the worst asterisk, considering what we usually get. So, in a landmark law signed today, New Mexico barred all government employees from using qualified immunity as a legal defense in state court and created a new way to challenge government agencies that violated constitutional rights. Already, this is making me happy. I like this sort of an opening to a story.
I'm waiting to be disappointed a little bit.
Yeah, it's better than Sanders. I don't know. I'm not displeased. I mean, all things considered, making it much easier for the victims of police violence and other government abuses to sue for damages. The New Mexico Civil Rights Act marks one of the most sweeping police reform bills passed in the aftermath of the tragic killing of George Floyd. So again, to all the people out there, not a lot of our audience, but just in general, that are like, oh, you shouldn't celebrate George. I remember when Chauvin got his sentence, and all the chat was like, yeah, but George Floyd's not a hero. Yeah, I'm so mad that people have an opinion on something that differs from me. You know, those kind of people. George Floyd has led to a state ending qualified immunity in broad strokes and a number of other things. So I don't know. I think a lot of people think our heroes aren't anyway, so I'm not sure it really changed. Anyway, I'm getting off track. Created by the U.S. Supreme Court nearly 4 decades ago and found nowhere in the Constitution or relevant federal laws, qualified immunity lets government officials escape legal liability for violating someone's constitutional rights unless those rights were clearly established, which is they can't be. Again, we've already you have to basically, it's like a grandfather clause. Well, if it's already determined, well, then they can't do it. But it's like, you know, you can't shoot someone through a bush, you shoot them through a tree. Very different things, apparently. But, yeah, we've gone into this before. In practice, this means finding a prior case with identical facts, key being identical, from the same appellate jurisdiction where the violation occurred. This can spawn Kafkaesque results. Yeah, it's literally like, well, the previous case had you rolling, pushing him into a ditch with water in it and then shooting him, and couldn't do that. But the ditch didn't have water, so it's okay. Crazy. Since qualified immunity is a federal doctrine, it can only be fully abolished by Congress or the Supreme Court, but state and local lawmakers can act to protect everyone's constitutional rights. Enter the New Mexico Civil Rights Act under HB 4. If a state or local government employee infringes on someone's rights within the scope of their employment, the victim can sue the government employer for damages. So that's the key, though. Can sue the government employer for damage under the state Constitution, because it's a state-based thing. Since qualified immunity is a federal thing,
Good.
they don't have as much control, but it's still something.
Okay.
Crucially, this is. Oh yeah, go ahead.
So for our audience, this is like something that's very.
It's a big deal.
This is a big deal.
This is the equivalent of asking for 16 trillion and maybe getting 6 trillion.
All right. Oh,
I mean,
it's better than
from a state perspective.
From a state perspective.
I'm pleased.
You know,
we could go further.
One other thing before you continue on. Sorry to interrupt, but I want to be very clear that with stuff like this, it's very important that we still keep on pushing forward for real reform. This isn't something. Yes, we could celebrate.
This is a state-by-state issue that's happening.
Yeah,
This
and
is the second state where this has happened.
Yeah, and okay, and what's the first state?
I don't remember. I just know there's another state that
Okay.
got it first. Probably California, maybe Colorado. I don't know. Someone did it. Anyway, crucially, this new cause of action specifically bans a qualified immunity as a legal defense, which is, for too long, qualified immunity has denied victims a remedy for violations of their constitutional rights, and said Institute for Justice and attorney Keith Neely, who submitted testimony in favor of the New Mexico bill. With the governor's signature, New Mexico has made enormous strides towards holding law enforcement officers and other government employees accountable. So, if a police bashes your teeth in because you were carrying car keys in your hand, you can now sue for damages. If I don't know, but you guys tell me in sure. If a SWAT team accidentally goes to the wrong address and then blows down your door, kills your dog, and goes through all your papers and breaks stuff, you may be able to sue them now. So if I'm waiting for we're for protecting the people, the blue line people that all just quit when this starts happening, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm treated evenly to the people that do stuff to me. I hate that. I can't serve as a cop. That's not. I like bashing people. This is actually likely going to curb something, because if you're a cop and you don't have to, if your issue is that your union's going to back you and you're going to get 2 weeks of paid vacation, so what? Why wouldn't you kill someone if you were in a bad mood? Now, that person's family can take everything you have. Maybe.
All right. I think as a note for this story, this needs to be done nationwide. And people need to still keep on fighting. Yes, it's okay to celebrate. Don't want to take that away from anyone. This is happening in New Mexico. This is a good thing. This is a good story. But the fight's not over. Yeah. And you can never rest easy, because here's the thing. So long as there's still injustice that's happening, so long as there's a lack of real accountability, nothing will fundamentally change. And it's very important for every activist, every community organizer that's calling for, real justice, so that so that another George Floyd doesn't happen, even though they are happening as we speak. I mean, it's important that we do this so that this doesn't happen again.
Yeah, it's like, again, just to kind of get back to that little tangent I was making. It's funny how many people are trying to make sure that his legacy is tarnished more than, I don't know, the cop that killed him. But this is a legacy. Mm-hmm. He died. He was murdered. But he left a legacy. That's more than most of us can say in our lifetimes.